mathematicians. This is a channel where you will learn a lot about fashion, pattern making, finance, and math education. Today, I am going to dive into the world of mathematics. And the topic of discussion today will be the order of operation. Now, what is the order of operation? The order of operation are simply rules that you are going to apply to an expression that is given to you in order to arrive at a number or at a simplified term such as a monomial, or it could be a binomial, or it could be a trinomial. The order in which you are going to perform these operations have to be followed in order to achieve the correct answer. And the order is simply that you're going to do what's in the parentheses first, then you are going to do your exponents, then you are going to do your multiplication or division, whichever comes first from left to right, followed by addition or subtraction, whichever comes first from left to right. There is an acronym that is formed from this order of operation by abiding by the rule, and that acronym is PEMDAS. PEMDAS is simply a way for you to remember the order in which the operation is to be performed in order to arrive at the correct answer. Now, this is what it looks like. So you have the P for parentheses, and you have parentheses here, and you have the E for the exponent, and you have the M or the D for multiplication or division, and finally you have the A or S for addition or subtraction, whichever comes first from left to right. So that is what the PEMDAS is about. We use these acronyms as a way for you to remember which operation you have to perform first, or we'll say which rule you have to apply first to your expression in order to achieve the correct answer. Now, you might also notice that some math problems you might have a box parentheses, and then inside of it you may have the regular parentheses. So you have to still do what's inside the regular parentheses first, then you take it from there and do what is inside the bigger parentheses, because there are cases that you might have, say, a division out here of, say, a number. So you have to do whatever operation is in here first, then do what this operation is to achieve one number inside of the box parentheses, and that is very important. Let's get into an example today, and the example that I'm going to use first is 23 minus open parentheses 17 minus 2 close parentheses divided by 5 plus 2 to the third power. I always tell my students, write PEMDAS at the side so you know what you are going to do first, and look at the problem, and then you'll notice, oh, I have here exponent, I have parentheses here, I have division, and I have also a subtraction. So you're going to do parentheses first, and I tell them always put the P here and look for the parentheses. You see a parentheses here, so you're going to take care of this first. So 17 minus 2 is going to be 15, and you can further bring down the rest of the numbers, because that is very important, because the order matters. So you have 23 minus 15 divided by 5 plus 2 to the third power. So after parentheses, we know the next order or the next rule that we need to do is E for exponent. So you have exponent here, 2 to the third power is going to be 8. So because you have 8 right there, you're going to bring down everything else that you have and write it down. And then the next that we need to look for is multiplication or division. And remember, it is whatever that comes first from left to right. In this case, there is no multiplication in this problem. It's simply just division. So you're just going to write D and do the division aspect of it, and that will give you 3 because 15 divided by 5 is 3. So you have that. Then you are going to simply again bring down the other numbers that you have, right? And now we have addition or subtraction, whichever comes first from left to right. In this case, we have subtraction coming first before addition. So we are going to do our subtraction first, and we need to write S here, and we're going to do 23 minus 3 is going to be 20, and you bring down your plus 8. And remember, because it's left to right, next thing that we have to do is have our A for addition. And 20 plus 8 is 28, and that is going to be your answer. So the order is very important. You have to follow these steps in order to achieve the correct answer. And having the acronym PEMDAS is going to be your guide in order to achieve the correct answer. Now, as you know, I like to give more than one example because variety is a spice of life. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to give another example where you have other things that is happening within the expression. So my next example is 20 minus the big box parentheses. Inside of that, I'm going to have 23 minus 11, and then on the outside I'm going to have plus 2 to the third power, and then I have my square bracket. So we are still going to apply the steps for this, but we have to be very careful because we are going to do what is inside of the regular parentheses first. And as we know, P comes first. So we write P here, and we're going to do this part first, which is going to be 12. And we are going to bring down the other numbers. So we still have 12 plus exponent. We're going to bring down the 2 to the third first before we get any further. And the next rule is that we are going to apply exponent. The next rule is that we are going to look for the exponent, and the exponent here is this one. So the exponent here is this one. 2 to the third is going to be 8. 2 to the third power is 8. And we are going to bring everything else down. We have our 12 here. We still keep our box parentheses there. And we have our 20 on this side. So we don't have any multiplication or division here, so we go to the next one. We look for addition or subtraction, but even though we have the box here, you have to be careful. You have to do what's inside of the square parentheses here, and this is going to be 20. And now you are going to bring down the other 20, so 20 minus 20, and that is going to be subtraction because there's no addition there, and that is going to be 0 as your answer. I want to say this to you because some students might simply do this differently, and they might simply get rid of the parentheses here, right? So if you get rid of the box parentheses, or what we otherwise call the square parentheses, before you do the operation that is inside of it, you're going to achieve an incorrect answer, because you will end up with 20 minus 12 plus 8. And if you do 20 minus 12, you're going to get 8, and 8 plus 8 is going to give you 16, and that answer is incorrect. As I stated before, variety is the spice of life. And so I'm not just going to give you these two examples. I'm going to throw in another one, toss it in, like when you toss it in your ingredients and you're cooking and you're stirring things up. I'm going to throw in another example so that you can notice the difference here. And this example is going to have variables inside that expression, because a lot of you students may have difficulty working with variables, and I'm here to help you to get over that little difficulty that you may have, or in other words, if I want to take it to a bigger level and say, I want you to get over your phobia. So let's get into another example that is going to have variables inside of that expression. In this example, a lot is going on. You have binomial inside of parentheses, and then you have it raised to the exponent, and you also have a number outside, so you have to apply the distributive property. Now, when you are applying the distributive property, you still have to abide by the rules first, because guess what? What's in the parentheses and then raise it to the second power, you have to do that exponent first and then take it from there. So let's get right into this example for you. So if you notice in this case, right, even though you have a parentheses here, the term that's inside the parentheses is a binomial. It cannot be broken down or simplified into simply one term, because you have the first term has variables and the last term does not have a variable. And this case is a monomial constant cannot be added to an expression that has a variable. So you cannot do anything to this expression. So even though you have parentheses as your first rule, you cannot apply it in this case. Alright? So in this scenario, we are going to look at the one that has the exponent here. And because we have the exponent, this is telling us that we are going to multiply what is inside the parentheses 2 times. So this is how we're going to write it out. We have our 2 parentheses 3x minus 4, and we're going to write it again 3x minus 4, and that is going to take care of what the exponent is, which is the second power, and we're still going to keep that last binomial inside of the parentheses. So this raises the second power, takes care of this. We're now going to multiply this binomial, and we will have 2 open parentheses. We're using the FOIL method. 3x times 3x is going to give you 9x squared, and 3x times negative 4 is negative 12x. Negative 4 times 3x is negative 12x, and then negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. And please remember to put that in the parentheses. You must bring down your 5x to the second power plus 3. That must be brought down. So we took care of this, right? We now have to combine like terms. And when we combine our like terms here, we will have 2 open parentheses, and I'm going to put what we have in here, 9x squared. We will have our 16, so I'll have 16 here, and inside of this we will have negative 24x. And once again, we are going to bring down our 5x squared. Keep it in the parentheses, because if you don't, you're going to run in a difficulty, or you're going to get an incorrect answer. So we have this, right? Keep your parentheses there. That is very important. Otherwise, you will end up with an incorrect answer, and I'm going to show you why you have to keep your parentheses there. So now we are going to apply my distributive property to this trinomial, because we cannot add all these terms together to get just one term. So I'm going to apply my distributive property here, and I'm going to get 2 times 9 is going to be 18x squared minus 48x plus 32, because we're multiplying each term by 2 using distributive property. And Now, because we have a minus sign here, in order to get rid of the parentheses here, this negative times this first term is going to be negative 5x squared, and then the negative times the positive 3 is going to be negative 3. So this is very important, okay? If you don't use the distributive property properly, here where you have the parentheses, you will arrive at an incorrect answer. So now we are going to see if we can combine any like terms, or if we have any like terms here, and we notice that we have the 8x squared and we have the negative 5x squared. So we can put that together. You can either rewrite them together, right, like this, 8x squared minus 5x squared, and then you can see if there are any other terms. We notice for the negative 48x, there's no other x term, it's just that one. So we have that, and then we have the positive 32, and we can do plus 32 minus 3. Now we can put this together. We have 18x squared minus 5x squared. That is going to give you 13x to the second power minus 40x squared, and this is going to give you plus 29. And that is your final answer. Notice you cannot add these terms together, because even though this has an x here and this is an x, but this x is raised to the second exponent, you cannot add a variable with another variable that is raised to an exponent x, meaning that you cannot add a 13x squared with 48x. You can only add, say, if it was 13x squared and 48x squared, then yes, you could have added that, and that would have given you simply 61x squared. Or if you had 13x and 48x, then yes, you could have added those, and then you would have gotten 61x. But because the variable has an exponent here and it doesn't have an exponent here, you cannot add these, and also you cannot add a monomial constant with another term that has a variable. They stand by itself, you cannot add those. So that's what the correct answer is going to give you for this expression that we started out with. I want to say to you that the main thing from this is that you have to remember to apply the distributive property properly here when you have a negative and you have a plus sign. Even if you had the reverse here, a negative here and a negative here, then you would have to combine that and know that you would have gotten a positive sign. Conclusion: now that you know how to apply the order of operation by using the acronym PEMDAS, I hope that you will apply it correctly. Be very mindful. Even though you have the acronym PEMDAS, and when it comes to the multiplication or division and the addition or subtraction, you have to look at what is given to you first in that expression, what comes first. So if division comes first before the multiplication, you have to apply the rule of division first to that expression in order to arrive at the correct answer. The same thing goes for addition and subtraction. If subtraction comes first, you have to apply the subtraction rule first before you apply the addition rule. Remember, it's all what is coming from left to right. And when I say left to right, I'm talking about doing the math from this side left to right, not the reverse. Now that you know how to apply the rules for order of operation, I do hope that on your next math problem that you will be successful in achieving the correct answer. It is something that is easy to remember the rules once you remember the acronym PEMDAS. As I stated before, for each line that you are applying whatever rule, write what rule you are applying so that you are doing it correctly. That is a guide you to guide you to achieve the correct answer and also to follow the rules in the correct order. With that being said, I hope that you like what you have seen. And guess what? If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And guess what? Don't leave this information to yourself. It is vital. So share it with others around the world so they too can learn about order of operation and other topics that I present to you on this channel. Don't forget, hit that like button. And guess what? Leave a comment or two. And thank you for watching, and see you soon on other videos to come. Bye now.